today's video, I'm going to be walking y'all through my entire retouching process, showing y'all everything step by step that I do in Photoshop to be able to get results like this in my work. Now, there's something very special about this video, and I'm going to be explaining that later on in the video, so stick around and watch. First thing first, when you're ready to work on your new project in Photoshop, you want to open up the right template. When people are shooting photos, their main goal and objective is to post this stuff on social media. And I've seen it a lot of times where people would deal with this problem where when they upload their photos to Photoshop, it automatically crops their photos or whatever the situation is. And a lot of the times that happen is because y'all are uploading y'all photos in the wrong dimension and y'all are editing in the wrong dimension. So when you're uploading or when you have the intention of uploading to Instagram, you want to make sure that your portrait dimension is 1080 by 1350. And for landscape shots, I think it's 1080 by 566. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen if I'm wrong. So 1080 by 1350, you want to make sure that your resolution is at 300 and you want to make sure that you're on a 16-bit image. You want to make sure that this is on sRGB. You want to make sure that this is on square pixels, and once all of that is done, you can click create. Now that we have our template that we're going to work on, we're going to go ahead and drag our photo into Photoshop. You can literally just go into your file and then take the photo, drag it right into Photoshop. Now you should have this camera raw panel that opens, and from here, what I always like to do is work on the basic adjustments of the photo first. All right, a lot of people like to work backwards. I don't like to work backwards, and I don't like to waste my time. Before we start messing with the lighting, we're gonna go up here to crop, and I'm gonna change the preset to 4:5. That's Instagram's dimension, 4:5. Instagram's landscape is 16:9. From here, I really want this to be a much closer shot. I want this to be a headshot. I know I shot it a little further away, and I could have been a lot closer, but I want to zoom this in here a lot. Now these lines right here, for anybody who don't know, this is called the rule of thirds. All right, with this, you want to make sure that your model, your subject, is evenly balanced in a frame in all different areas. This is something a lot of people look over, especially as beginners, because they don't really understand perspective. They don't understand composition. So when they're uploading their photos and their photos flop or whatever the situation is, they don't understand why. And it really could be a simple problem like this. Sometimes people will have too much space above the subject's head, or they'll have too much space to the left or right side of them, and that just doesn't really look right. Always think about how the person viewing your photo and viewing your work is going to perceive, or what they're going to think about your work. If I'm doing headshots like this, I try to always have my subject straight slam in the middle of the frame, so when I look at the photo, I'm directly looking at her face. Now from here, we can work on our lighting. Now obviously there's a lot of shadows in this photo, and we're gonna fix that by just lowering this shadow or raising it all the way. I'm also gonna lower the contrast just a little bit to get rid of more of those shadows. Zooming in here, I want to take a closer look at the textures and the details in her skin. Now we can see a lot of textures and details, but we're gonna bring it up a little bit more by raising the textures dial just a little bit. This is just gonna make her a lot more sharper, and then I'm gonna go down here to details and then raise the details up a little bit, as well as the radius. Now we can see right here with her bracelet, there's some purple lines and streaks that are inside of it. Now we can fix that. This is called chromatic aberration, first of all, and we can fix this by just going down here to this optics, and we can raise up the purple amount all the way. Now I think this is looking pretty good, so we can go ahead and click OK. Now here in Photoshop, as you guys can see, I have two layers here. I have the raw layer and I have this new layer that we edited in Camera Raw. Now the reason why I like to have two layers is because I like to keep the raw layer to be able to, I guess, have it as a reference point so that I know, okay, how far I've gone in the editing, I guess. It's just a little thing that I like to do. You don't necessarily have to do it. Now, before we move any further, I want to let y'all know that I like to work in the system. Okay, I like to have a system with my work because I think it keeps me efficient, it makes me effective, and it helps me save a lot of time. And I'm going to teach y'all exactly what that system is. Now, first, y'all saw me in Camera Raw. Y'all saw that I fixed certain things, the lighting, the exposure, the crop, all that good stuff. Now, I like to move on to cleaning up the photo, removing blemishes and whatnot. So what you want to do here, you want to go over here to the patch tool, grab the patch tool, and then you want to zoom in to any blemishes, any pimples. You want to make a selection around that. You want to click it. You want to drag it to a clean spot. A lot of people like to use the spot healing brush tool, the removal tool, or the healing brush tool. I don't recommend you use any of those because they don't give you the most accurate results. The patch tool gives you the most accurate results because you can quite literally just grab it and drag it to a clean spot, and it copies all the textures that are in that area. With the other tools, they work with like AI, you know what I mean? They do generative fill. So a lot of the times they don't necessarily copy or generate the right texture for that area. Now, a lot of beginners will struggle with this process because they question themselves whether or not they're removing the right or wrong things. And I think you will eliminate a lot of that if you just have those conversations with your client. Most people will go to their shoots and they'll just have conversations about random things when you should be asking the important questions. Also, ask the client what they like, you know, how they like their editing to be, if they should remove this or should remove that. Like the average person, they probably would come in here and remove these little, you know, these marks right here, these moles. And I'm sure she probably added that in with her makeup, or that's just how her skin is. So removing that is something that she probably wouldn't have wanted. And they probably would have sent these photos to that client and she would have been like, hey, you know, I didn't want you to remove this, or could you put this thing back in the photo, or whatever the situation is, and now you wasting your time. And in reality, she's probably upset with you because you should have gotten it right the first time. Now, a lot of y'all are probably gonna think like, oh, I'm just human and I make mistakes, whatnot, but a lot of those mistakes could be avoided if you simply just have those conversations with your client. A lot of us think that just because we're the professional or that we have the camera or whatever the situation is, then we can lean on our own judgment and we can throw our own shit in there. But reality, the client may not like your taste. They may want the things how they want to be, how they want them to be done. So just keep that in mind. Like if you're ever struggling with something, just always have those conversations with your client. It's just going to make your process much more easier, and it's going to make your life way more easier. What you want to do from here is you want to grab your clone stamp tool and you want to go over her eyebrow. Now we're cleaning up her eyebrows now. All right, so grab your clone stamp tool right here, hold Alt. Once you see this different circle pop up, so you have this one and then you have a different one. When you hold Alt, this one is going to pop up, and you want to left click right up under that eyebrow, and then you just want to go over the line of it just to kind of like clean it up, right? And you want to do the same thing above. Now down here, we're going to do the same thing with her lips. Okay, we want to clean up her lip gloss. Now you just want to go over that lip line. Any excess lip gloss is what we're looking for. We want to remove that. We don't want to change the shape of her lip. No, we just want to fix up her lip line, right? Some of y'all are probably going to think, oh, like I think this photo would look cool if her lips were smaller or bigger or whatever the situation is. And again, that's you making your own judgment and you adding your own taste to shit. The client may not want that, but they will appreciate the fact that you see something and you're like, okay, like maybe I should clean this up a little bit, like what I'm doing right here with her lip gloss. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to post a picture and her lip gloss looking crazy. Imagine what the girls are gonna think. Or for example, up here with her hair, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to deliver these photos in her lace, you know what I'm saying? We can see her lace, like, nah, bro. So I'm just going over that lip liner right there, just cleaning all of this up. So what you want to do from here is you want to go up here to the lasso tool, right? You want to make a selection around her hair like this. And this photo is also going to be in the comment section below, not in the comment section, but in the description. So if y'all want to follow along with me, you can. Make a selection around her hair like this, go around here, and then you want to right click, generative fill, and then click generate. Now, because Photoshop is so cool, they gave us 3 different variations. I'm going to go with this second one because I like that one the best. You can choose whichever one you want. And then we're going to go here. We're going to grab this top selection or this top layer, and then we're going to hold control, grab the bottom one. We're going to right click and we're going to merge them together. The reason why we did that is because Photoshop generated a completely new layer and we want all one consolidated layer. So I'm going to merge both of those together. And then right down here, we want to also try and remove her bra strap. So do the same thing that you did. You want to right click, go to generative fill, and see if it generates you something better than what is already here. Okay, so that's perfect. Now we can actually merge this one together too. Now, when I told you guys that this was a very special video in the beginning of the video, and I told you I was gonna explain what was going on or why it was so special, is because I just recently dropped my new action pack. All right, and this action pack allows photographers to be able to be more efficient, deliver much more higher quality results, and save a lot of time editing. At the click of a button, you'll be able to have multiple different layers. That's going to allow you to come in here, again, make your process much more quicker and be able to produce crazy results. How it works is you can literally go up here to this action button, go to frequency separation, you can click play, and you're gonna have many more layers than this, but this is just an example. I'm sure I'm gonna be finished with the action pack by the time this video is out, and it's gonna be in the description below. So while you're following along with me, you can actually go grab it and you can use it in your process. And once you grab it, you want to hide both of these layers. Yours is probably going to say textures layer, yours is going to say shadow removal, and this is going to be colors layer. All right, now you want to make sure that you have colors layer enabled. That's the only one you can see. So hide these top two right now, and you want to make sure that you go over here to the brush tool, right click on that, and then go to mixer brush tool. You want to change this color picker to white, and up here at the very top you want to make sure that you have all of these settings selected. So wet 9%, load 75, mix 100%, and the flow at 100%. You also want to make sure that you have sample all layers selected, and what you want to do from here is zoom in and start smoothing out the skin. Now what this method does, it blends highlights and darks, it smooths out the skin while also removing any blemishes and imperfections and discoloration that might have been, you know, left behind when we were removing all the blemishes with the patch tool earlier. This method smooths and makes the photo more polished, which every client that I've come across love. You want to make sure that you're taking your time with this. What I'm doing is I'm picking my mouse up and I'm dropping it on certain areas. So I'll go over one section, I'll pick up my mouse, I'll move it, and I'll left click again and I'll go over that area. So you don't want to mix highlights and darks like this. A lot of people will do that. You really do want to take your time with this because you don't want to mess this process up. It will show in the final result. So take your time, go up, down, go in a circular motion. All right, you don't want to go over any really detailed areas. Like you notice I didn't go over her eyes. I am going to go over her lips right here, this bottom part right here. I'm going to do her chin right here. You see I'm going around. I'm not like mixing the highlights and the darks. I'm just kind of like going around in the edge, just kind of mixing them where they blend. You also don't want to neglect the other parts of her body. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get her hands, make sure you get her legs, make sure you get her, you know, arms and all that good stuff, because I guarantee you your clients are gonna notice it, and that's gonna determine whether they like your photos or not. Now, so after that's done, we can bring all of those other layers back, and here's what this is looking like now compared to before. Now, before. Now from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab all of these layers together. All right, so we're gonna hold shift, grab this top layer, grab this bottom layer while we're still holding shift, and it's gonna grab all of them at one time, and then we're gonna control C and then control V to duplicate them. All right, and then we're gonna right click while all of these layers are still selected, and we're gonna merge them, and we're gonna group these bottom layers. I know I just said a lot there, but let me explain. So pretty much what we did, all three of these layers, these frequency separation layers, we grabbed them and we duplicated them, and then we made it one complete consolidated layer. The reason why I like to do that is because I want this to be one complete consolidated layer, because I want to be able to work on that one further on, right? But I like to keep these bottom layers because if I ever need to go back, let's say if I'm like, okay, I missed a step, or I want to go back and fix something, I'm not like shooting myself in the foot, you know what I'm saying? I can go back. I'm gonna name this one background layer. It's very important that y'all name y'all layers. And then I'm gonna go up here to the quick selection tool, and I'm gonna do select subject. But before I click select subject, I'm gonna click on this drop down. I'm gonna go to cloud and then click select subject. This is gonna allow me to get a much more detailed cutout of my subject. And once I have that cutout, I'm gonna control C and control V, and now I have a PNG of my subject. From here, in between that subject layer and the background layer, I'm gonna add a curves layer, right? I'm gonna go to adjustments and I'm gonna add a curves layer, and then I'm gonna drop the exposure, and you can see how that makes her pop and stand out a lot more. Now right above that layer, I'm gonna go back to adjustments. I'm gonna add two more curves layers. Okay, I'm gonna add two more curve layers, and with this top curve layer, I'm gonna overexpose this by dragging this point up to about right here, and then I'm gonna invert it by holding control and then hitting I. The reason why I can invert it is because this is now gonna allow me to draw on it, all right? Actually, guys, I just missed a step. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. This is like my third time recording this video because my mic has been like acting crazy, but I missed a step. And this is what I was saying, like if I ever forget something, I'm not shooting myself in the foot and I can go back. I'm gonna remove all of these layers and I'm gonna go back to the frequency separation layer and work on shadow removal. Now with shadow removal, we wanna change the flow right here to 5%. On the brush tool, we wanna make sure that we're here. And then we wanna go, let's say if we wanna remove these shadows right under her eyes, we're gonna hold Alt, right? And then we're gonna go over that eye bag right there, and we're gonna remove all of that shadow. You can see how it did a good job of removing all of that shadow. Do the same thing for the other side, and any other shadows that might be in the photo that you want to remove, go ahead and get rid of. But you don't want to go too crazy with this process because you don't want to make it look unnatural. So after that's done, we can go ahead and go back and do everything that we just did before. Now here's what I was saying with the curves layers. This method is called dodge and burn. You're actually gonna have this in that action pack that's in the description below. You're gonna have a lot of different layers. And this is really cool because if I drag this exposure point up and invert it, this is gonna allow me to add more highlights to her face, right? So if I change this back to 100% because earlier we lowered it to 5% because we were working on the shadow. If I drag this or start making highlight points, let's say here, here, right here on her cheeks, right here on her chin, maybe here. And then if I go to the shadows, I'll drag this point down, right? And then I'm gonna do the same thing, Control I, and then it allows me to draw on it. I'll go and add my shadow points. Some here, some here on her cheek. And then what you want to do is you want to go to this square with the circle in the middle of it, and you want to change the feather so that it starts to blend in with her skin. Now I like to think of this method as it enhances her makeup. So from here, what I like to do to bring out a little bit more highlight in her face, I'll go to adjustments and I'll go to selective color and I'll drop this whites point. You want to change the colors to whites first of all, and then you want to drop this blacks down just a little bit, just to kind of bring out those highlights in her face a little bit more. Next, what I'm gonna do is, because I don't want this background to be blue, I want it to be white. All right, so I'm gonna go back up to adjustments. I'm gonna go to hue saturation, and then I'm gonna go to blue right here. I'm gonna change the saturation to negative 100%. Same thing with this other one. Now I'm gonna add some more eye glow to her eyes, and I'm also gonna add some, I guess, lip gloss was what I like to call it in Photoshop. I'd make her lips glow a little bit, you know, make them look a little glossy. And how we do that is we're gonna add 2 empty layers, right? I'm gonna name one eye glow, and then I'm gonna name one lip gloss. All right, and with the eye glow, we want to go to the elliptical marquee tool. We want to add one here, and I'm gonna hold shift and then add another one over here. I'm gonna right click, fill, change this to white, click OK, and then I'm gonna change this to soft light. I'm gonna change it to overlay, I'm sorry. Change it to overlay, and then I'm gonna double left click on that layer. And this right here at underline layer, this isn't 1 point, this is actually 2. And the way you break it off is by holding Alt and then clicking on that right side and then just dragging this up. And just like that, added a little bit more glow to her eye. Kind of similar with her lips, we want to go to the lasso tool, make a selection over her lips like this, right click, fill, change this to white, double left click on that lip gloss layer, and same thing with the other one. We want to drag, hold Alt, drag this point all the way up, and then drag this one up as well, and it just kind of adds like that glossy look effect to her lips. And then we want to grab the eraser tool and just kind of erase on the outsides of her lips. Now if it's too much, you can change it to overlay or soft light, however it works for you. Now to really bring this photo all together, what I'm going to do is add one last curves layer. Okay, I'm going to bring this blacks point up, I'm going to bring the contrast point down, I'm going to bring this point up, and I'm going to bring the highlights point down a little bit just to kind of play with this to get it to look how I want it to look. I don't know, it's just a little touch that I like to do on my photos. I just feel like it really brings it all together. From where it started, I mean, look at the before and after. This was before, and this is after. If you enjoyed this little walkthrough, if you enjoyed this tutorial, go ahead and let me know in the comment section what you think. Also, I really suggest that y'all go ahead and grab that pack. I'm not telling y'all just because it's my product, but I think if you're a beginner, or even if you've been in the game for a while and you're spending so much time editing photo sessions, this is really going to quicken up your process. It's going to make it very easy. I'll also leave in the description, there's a video along with the action pack on how to use it. So go ahead and grab it. Let me know what y'all think about it. I really hope that you guys enjoy it. I don't want to hold y'all for too long. I appreciate y'all for watching again, and I'll see y'all in the next video.